Over-fertilization is a major problem because when that runs off and gets into the river, winds up doing what we call eutrophication, which is the blooming of the algae, which then eventually will kill off a lot of the other organisms. And since we're part of the Chesapeake Bay watershed, all that stuff winds up in the bay. And right now, that's one reason why they're doing the major upgrades of the sewage treatment plants in the Chesapeake Bay watershed to keep all that nitrogen and phosphorus, which are the fertilizer components, out of the water. Nature can correct itself to a degree. I always use the river after a big rainstorm. It gets silt in it, and eventually that falls out as the river slows down. The air clears itself slowly but surely. What doesn't is soil. It takes a long, long period of time. Every part of the environment has a tipping point, and when you get past it, it's very difficult. Then we have to go in as humans and help it.
I teach botany, which I always push the point that when you're creating a landscape, you're creating an ecosystem. And you need to develop it in a manner that's, sustainable, just like a natural ecosystem is. One of the biggest problems with our planet today is the exotic pests that are brought in. Our ash trees are dying, our hemlocks are dying. That's all from, Asian pests that are coming in. It comes in a lot of times in shipping materials. We can go back to chestnut blight. It took the chestnuts out here in the early 1900s. That came in on a load of logs. Dutch elm disease. All the problems that we have with invasive plants like ailanthus, the tree of heaven, purple loosestrife, Japanese knotweed, they displace native plants, and it's a real problem. And we need herbicide, we're committed to it, but you have to do it responsibly, and it makes it tough. And with the insects the same way, you're putting pesticide out there. It's not like the old days. Back to my father, he used to do summer work, whitewashing barns, and for an extra couple of dollars, they'd put DDT in it, to make sure there's no flies in the barn.
There are, outside invaders, exotic pests and insects and challenges like that we've got to we got to deal with, and we have to look at the bigger picture. We have to look at, well, why is an insect there? Why did that insect attack that plant? Why are those weeds in the lawn?
There's two more over there. Oh!
There's so many of them. We got a lot of them.
If you don't have a background in some science at least, you're not going to be able to do anything to help the environment other than vote and maybe donate money. Those are always important too, but if you're going to get a job in a field that's going to help the environment, you need to know all the basics of science.
A lot of what I do it truly is science. I think about that decision of not being a botanist, but the things that I have to do are more than just throwing a seed in the ground. With greenhouse culture and nursery production as well is a very intensive thing, managing all the parameters of growth, particularly fertilization and understanding pruning, to say nothing of pest control. I go through my old notebooks from when I was in school, and in my greenhouse classes, the recommendation for controlling pests was pick a day of the week, and spray number 1 is this week, spray number 2 is next week, and it was this kickapoo juice of 4 or 5 different pesticides, and you would spray whether you had bugs or not. The plan was keep them from ever getting started. Today, we spray only as a last resort. You use the least toxic control measure first. And so that requires a heck of a lot more diligence than just mixing up a spray and applying it preventatively. The other thing I do is math, because numbers, no matter what you do, numbers are important. If in a turf grass class, fertilization is one of the biggest things done in turf management. And you can either just sling it out there, or you can actually figure out what you need and not waste that resource, not pollute your environment. You watch the bottom line for the business as well. So even just, simple math skills to be able to keep track of things like that.